Nubuck leather is a hide with its surface sanded or buffed to create a fibrous nap. This is done using the grain side of a natural leather instead of the split side, essentially the top instead of the bottom, which distinguishes it from suede. The nap created will be soft, velvety to the touch, and appear a little bit fuzzy. And since Nubuck is made out of natural leather, it's quite durable and has an exceptional lifespan compared to other materials. The drawbacks, however, come from the sanded surface, as by doing so, it exposes those natural fibers to a variety of environmental factors that could be, detrimental in the long term, such as staining, soiling, wear, tear, spills, and damages, and things like that. So therefore, Nubuck is often used in products that are not going to see really harsh environments in day-to-day use. However, when it is used, the end products look really, really unique and feel amazing. Nubuck was first created in the 19th century by Swedish crafters. At the time, the material was highly durable and velvet-like, and the market at that time was primarily for the wealthy class. Nubuck has historically been made from deer leather, elk leather, and other soft leathers. Though this has changed over time as calf skins and cow hides have become more popular, as well as the production mechanisms as well to produce higher quality Nubucks. So today, of course, Nubuck is not limited only to the wealthy. We all have a chance at owning it and crafting with it. And popular shoe brands have really embraced the qualities of Nubuck and made it a staple for the shoe industry as well. And we see a lot of that in sneakers and boots and shoes, and gives a really unique look and feel that you'll probably notice, even walking down the block. So let's take a really close look at the grain pattern so you can see exactly what this is about. So looking at a natural leather hide, we have a denser material on the top, and then on the bottom we have usually looser, more open fibers. And so whereas in something like a suede, we're going to have loose fibers on the top and bottom. With Nubuck, we're going to have denser fibers on the top, as we could see here, and then in a moment I'll show you the bottom where we're going to see looser fibers. And so how Nubuck is made is these denser fibers on top are essentially sanded. And so you've got tiny little sanded fibers that stand up a little bit, and that's what gives the Nubuck its tactile feel. And also if you kind of move it one way, it looks darker, move it one way, it looks lighter, because those little tiny fibers are standing up. Now if we look at the bottom, we'll see they're going to be much more open, looser fibers. This is going to look a little bit more like your suede. And they're essentially, because the fibers on the bottom are more naturally wider and open and loose, when they do that sanding process, they're going to result a little, wider and a little more open, again looking like suede. So that's the big difference. Nubuck, we'll look at the top again, is going to have that denser fiber on top that has been sanded. So the nap, or the length of those, is going to be a little shorter than when we look at the bottom, and they're going to be a little wider and a little longer. We generally find that around less than 60 million square feet of Nubuck leather are produced each year, and the primary producers are usually India, China, and Vietnam. The largest exporting country is India, and the largest importing country has historically been Vietnam. When looking at cost for Nubuck leather, you could expect to spend anywhere between around $3 to $9 per square foot, and that of course will be influenced by factors such as the quality of the tanning, the type of hide that the Nubuck leather is made from, and then various factors including coloring, finishing, any kind of surface protectant, things like that. The pros of Nubuck leather include certainly its softness, its texture, and its unique look. It stands out from most every other leather, except maybe suede, which has a little bit of a similar look even though it's longer. So Nubuck is pretty unique in the material world. And because it's a natural leather, it's durable, and often more durable than suede, because as we mentioned, the Nubuck still has some of that top denser grain that's been sanded, whereas a suede has had that for the most part removed. So Nubuck's going to be a little bit more durable than suede. It's going to be soft and flexible, and then it's also a little bit more breathable due to the fact that those fibers have been sanded up, so they are exposed. Looking at the cons of Nubuck leather, compared to other leathers, Nubuck pretty much prioritizes its look and feel over function. It does have that soft fibrous surface, which can be amazing. However, it's going to create a little bit more challenge in terms of maintenance and cleaning. Because those fibers are essentially exposed now, it's very easy to stain and discolor Nubuck leather. So you kind of have to be cautious about that. And then even cleaning Nubuck leather, there are some additional steps to kind of remove dirt and grime from the nap, and we have to usually use a more specialized cleaner for it. It's very sensitive to ultraviolet light, and it traps dust and debris very easily, requiring a little more care and maintenance to keep it looking good day to day. When we look at some good uses for Nubuck leather, we have a couple things that come to mind almost instantly. It's as versatile as other natural leathers, and we'll often see it used for things like shoes, clothing garments, upholstery, linings within other clothes like jacket linings, handbag linings, anywhere where you want that really nice soft feel and touch. It could be used for glove linings, even gloves alone, so things like that, kind of like personal accessories that you want that soft look and feel from them. If you're crafting with Nubuck, here are a couple things that you can keep in mind to help make that project more of a success. The first is always use a sharp blade when cutting Nubuck, because this leather, particularly with the exposed fibers, can be a little more prone to stretching. It's not going to be a huge challenge to overcome or vastly noticeable, though it's enough that if you can, you want to be cautious of it. That way you'll be cutting through the material and not tugging on it, creating some undesirable areas during crafting. Another tip would be to mark the back side of the leather when you're cutting instead of the top. Since it's more difficult to remove marks and stains from Nubuck, if you're marking it on the back where it's likely not going to be seen, then it'll be a non-issue, come the end of your project. And if you are sewing with Nubuck and using any kind of a waxed thread, clean the thread periodically so that the wax doesn't build up a lot on the loose fibers of the holes that you're sewing through on the Nubuck. It's a minor detail, though if you're making a higher quality leather good with a premium fit and finish, you want to make sure that those stitching holes are pretty smooth as well, and none of that wax gets onto your Nubuck. So there you have it, a look at Nubuck, a relatively unique and strong and durable and soft leather that's used in a lot of leather goods. And so if you're considering using that for a project, I definitely think it's worth trying out, and it could result in some really great finished goods with a unique look, either as the main material or an accent piece. So that is a look at Nubuck leather.